the granddaughter with her computer talked to Lee. Everyone in the back and forth, and we found out everything like that, and found out that she had died, and that she had got married, and that she had 3 daughters. And so we thought, wow, this would be a good kind of ending to this book about all the things that went along. And so that's what Lee is working on now. So he's got about a chapter and a half to go. Then we have to get it at the publishers, all the things you have to go through to line it up, and pictures you put in and all that, plus the costs, that's lots of money. So that's what's happening now, and if anybody would be interested, we got a list there. You can put your name on there, and when it is finished, we'd contact you. But there, that's just a quick little thing. I got so many things that happened when we went back to France. I never had been treated so much by the military in all my life. It was a D-Day that we went back on, and so there was all kinds of French soldiers. Of course, they're dressed like us, same colors of uniform. And our troops, man, I had so many people saluting me, sergeants, people, officers. Wherever I went, I wore this green jacket and this little hat, World War II vet. And they just treated me. People would flock around me and want to know where I was, and especially when I told them at Normandy too, right there at the graveyard where there was a lot of people, because man, crosses galore, and as you just look at them, you just think, wow, I was right there, and these guys was dying while I was there. Why? So I had all these experiences. People wanted my picture, wanted my signature, talked to me, wanted to know where I was around this area, because where we were was right St. Cloud or something like that, right where the paratroopers came right down, and the Germans was shooting them as they were hanging on buildings and around there. That's where the place where they're going to have a paratroop up. And the biggest thing that was going to happen, and the GIs were looking out for me wherever I went, because I was in a wheelchair a lot of times. They'd pick it up and move it around for me, and they found a place where they built like this, but no side walls, no small. 700 paratroopers were going to jump for Normandy landing, and they wanted me to see it. Come on, you're one of us, they said. And they put me right in the front row, and there I looked out in this great big acres and acres where these planes were supposed to come. I forget how many planes, if it was 3 or 7, was going to come, but the weather got so bad, they finally had called it off. I don't blame them, boy. The haze come right down, but I thought, oh, what a deal. But just that they were taking care of me. Everywhere I went, they wanted to buy me drinks, some of them did, it was just kind of neat, just to be treated like that. Because who I was just a plain old Minnesota boy and nothing fancy. But that's the kind of things that happen, so. And I was honored so much. My picture got in a French paper all over. I could tell you the stories how I got there, but it was in the first book. I think might be some hint in the back. I got underneath the Eiffel Tower. I was treated good there. And Arc de Triomphe, I was treated good there. In fact, at the Eiffel Tower, there was a crowd of people about 2 blocks long, about 5 or 6 wide, waiting to go up in it. One of the guys spotted me there in a wheelchair that was running the crowd. Who's with you? And I told him Lee and her husband and the guy who was taking our pictures. Come on, follow me. Brought us all the way down after a few blocks to the bottom of the Eiffel Tower. Took his keys out, opened the door, walked in, run us where the elevator is. There we are. I didn't have to wait in that line. They let me be with my friends. First one's up. But this kind of thing. At the Arc de Triomphe, I got a chance to meet a 5-star general. In fact, he was going to come out because there was the unknown soldier, and they had the Memorial Day going on for them. And so, there had been a great big tunnel across the road underneath, and we had went down them steps and across there and up into where the things was going on. Right away, one guy spotted me. Come on with me, pushed the crowd aside, put me right on the front row. Here's a great big cross with eternal flame burning, and band was playing and played some songs and stuff. up at the head of the cross was a bunch of French soldiers, or imagine they were, but they were all in dark suits. And pretty soon, right across from me, a general came up out of the stairs and he walked down by the band, walked through the band, and he came over here. And I thought, man, he's going to walk right by me. 5-star. And so as he come along, though, I stood up, my wheeler. I stood up. As he came, I saluted him. And I shook his hands. He stopped. I stopped the whole ceremony going on, because he's supposed to walk up and meet all these other guys. Here he is, talking to me, newspaper reporter. Our camera guy, getting me on tape, everything is happening. And he says, "You're American." He could speak English good. I says, "Yeah, why did you salute me?" I says, "I wanted to salute you." And so he talked a while, and then his whole entourage, besides, after he went, there was about 8, 10, 12. It was quite a, everyone stopped and shook my hand. Everyone in this whole thing. And then they went on and went to all them soldiers or servicemen back there. That's the thing that happened. But then another thing happened. As we put it in the first book, probably, I don't know, the second, another thing happened. I said, "Oh no, we're getting ready to go. People dispersing, going all over the place." I said, "We got to go down these steps." I forget how many. 40, 50 steps, I don't know, a long ways down, and then walk underneath this road. This road is one of the fastest ones there in Paris. They just come lickety-split, must be about 6 or 7 lanes wide, and they circle around the Arc de Triomphe. And as we were walking towards the stairway to go down, and then we had to go underneath there, and then Greg carried a wheelchair, and I hobbled along, and going up these steps again. I thought, oh man, too bad we couldn't go out there. They had big barriers where they wouldn't let nobody get out on the road. And a French policeman, a female one, said, "You want to get across the road?" "Yes, follow me." She went up to the road. This is where the cars are coming. Took the big, what do you call it? You know, to stop cars to go, I forget what they call it, crisscross the whole. She went and they pulled them away. She went and couple more French soldiers, policemen. They walked right out of the street. They stopped the cars. Just one got through, but he stopped all the cars. And because it's from here, it has to be over a block across that you have to go. It's a big road. And as they went across and they were wheeling me, I was saluting them. I was throwing kisses to these people. All their cars were stopped as they wheeled this old private. And they made so much of them. Why, I don't know, but it was sure nice. But that's the kind of, I even got up and I hugged a policeman. As a police, she was a woman, so I gave her a hug. Okay, now, you got any other things? I got story after story I can tell you. But you got an idea what I went through. Some of it was pretty nice, especially after the war.
While the people are still awake, Ken reminded me, I just wanted to make a mention about my books. They're available at my table over there. I invite you to come by and take a look at, even if you don't have to buy. They're $15. This one is $18. But this book talks about growing up during the Great Depression. So it's really interesting for any young people, I consider young, under 80, about what it's like growing up during the Great Depression. And come by my table and just take a look. We're glad to talk to you. Thank you.
Oh, before everyone goes, sit back down. Nice try. You can go. We got one more thing to say. This is Dylan Howard. I'm going to let him explain what he's saying. And he's got something for you guys to listen to. It's touching, tear-jerking. Pay attention.
All right, well, my name is Dylan Howard. There's really nothing important I need to say about myself except the reason I'm speaking today. I had the honor of meeting a very nice young lady. She was 3 years old in 1945 when her father was killed in the Battle of Bastogne. And she recently was able to go back and visit Belgium and see the spot where her father was killed. And unfortunately, she cannot be here today. However, she sent this letter along. She just wanted to let everybody know how much she appreciated it. This is a little bit paraphrased, but it was February 21st, 2014, in Belgium. Surrounded by men who only days before were total strangers, I found comfort, peace, and joy. We were standing on the very field where my father's blood stained the white snow of the Ardennes forest in the last days of the Battle of the Bulge. It was the dream of a young daughter who never knew the love of her daddy, to walk where he walked and meet the French and Belgian people for which he fought and died. The compassionate men of the 82nd Airborne Division Association, the Badger State Chapter, Wisconsin, with the help of 82nd veteran Tom Laney, made this dream come true. Her father, Private Glenn Herbert Ward of the 82nd Airborne Division, 508th PIR F Company, was KIA January 30th, 1945, in the last days of the Battle of the Bulge. Send Judy to Belgium was a fundraiser to raise airfare and some extra spending money for her to go so she wouldn't have to spend any of her own money. Her trip coincided with the In the Footsteps of the 82nd Airborne Division, the 32nd Annual Walk. The walk, on February 22nd, 2014, followed the trails of the 504th PIR during World War II. Over 1,000 active military and reenactors made the walk vividly real as it must have been during the battle. We will never forget that they did their duty. Now we must do ours and never forget. These words were spoken by a Belgian local that operate, or this couple operate an extraordinary Remember Museum dedicated to soldiers at the Battle of the Bulge. On February 21st, they stood together as a family of a fallen American soldier, along with men and women who understood their years of grief. As they honored Private Glenn Ward with flags, songs, flowers, and tears, they remembered all the fallen who now lie in marked and unmarked graves around the world. We must never forget their sacrifice or the families who have to go on without them. Pray for lasting peace and comfort for those who will always carry the marks of war, terrorism, and oppression. Judy concludes this message of remembrance with portions of a letter sent from Eric Vanderhaven of the Netherlands after they returned. There is no better proof of the contribution of the greatest generation, with Glenn as a prominent member of it, made to make this planet into a better world than the ceremony we have at Glenn's Field at Lazareth. Being there 69 years after the events of that fateful January 30th day was for all of us a most intense and intimate moment. In a small corner of German-speaking Belgium, with our group covering with more than 3 nationalities, more than 4 languages, and including people from at least 3 continents and 3 generations, all gathered there on the occasion of Judy's visit to what we from now on will call Glenn's Field. In their memory, and with the hopes and prayers that all of you will find the peace and closure you long for all these many years, our God is good all the time and knows our hurts that never seem to heal. Trust that someday we will all again be united and those tears will stop flowing. Thank you. You are dear in my heart always. Judy Durkee Peter. And I just have one final announcement here. The All-American Memorial, which will be held in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, on August 16th of this year, will feature Judy Durkee, Colonel John Skokos, and Lieutenant James Maggie McGellis. And again, this will be in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, August 16th. So if you want to come out and meet some of these great veterans also. So, thank you.